Hello and welcome. My name is Lance Best of Communication and You in Auckland, New Zealand, which had a storm this morning. And we now got nice sunny weather. That's your New Zealand typical weather. And also we had some bright idiot arrive at the airport this morning with two World War II incendiary devices in his luggage, and then declared them, closing the airport for 2 hours while they sussed out what he had.
Wow.
Yeah, got some idiots in this world, haven't we? At least it was a python or something like that. Well, that's happened too. So I'm speaking with Daniel Gomez, San Antonio, Texas. Can't remember whether I've been there, but I have been to Houston. And Daniel is a John Maxwell certified speaker. Now, there's a whole heap of stuff about Daniel here. I think it's really for Daniel. You crystallized that for me because it's like you're a book.
Thank you. Hopefully I'm a good book.
So you crystallized you're the founder of this, that, and everything. You just so people know who you are.
Well, I'm Daniel Gomez. I live here in San Antonio, Texas, and born and raised here in San Antonio. And John Maxwell, I'm a John Maxwell speaker, leadership development trainer, sales trainer, and I do some confidence life coaching. And my heart is in speaking and just encouraging people and taking them to another level in their life. And sometimes people just need a little bit of a little boost up. That way they can know that, you know what, you're going to be okay, because there's not enough encouragement and inspiration in this world. I think too many people step on other people to get to where they need to be. So if I can help one soul a day, I did my job.
Right. Have you been in the military or forces or?
No, I never served. Actually, I was supposed to go. I signed up to go to the U.S. Army when I was in high school, but unfortunately, I had a surgery when I was a senior in high school. So that disqualified me. So I didn't get a chance to make it out there. But
you have spoken to people in the forces?
Yes, I actually had the privilege and honor to speak at the NCO Academy. They actually, everybody's been asking me about military, and I was like, why is everybody asking me that? They go, well, you spoke at the NCO Academy. And I was like, people ain't gonna believe how they found me. They Googled me. They Googled me, and I came up under leadership, and they liked my video. And they called me and said, hey, we want to hire you to come here and speak to our sergeants and to our officers. I said, I thought it was a lot of times on your phone, you see these out of range calls or just area codes out of San Antonio, and I don't answer them a lot of times because they're telemarketers. Well, it was a out of area phone call, and I just answered it that day, and destiny had it. God had it in store for me. So that's how I spoke at the NCO Academy. It was a miracle. It was a God thing.
No, it's amazing. Do you know what specifically it was about you that got them to ask you?
He said he saw my video. He said he just liked my energy.
He just said, ask.
When I asked him, he said, I Googled, you came up, some other speakers came up, and honestly, he said it was my energy when he saw my video. He just said that I seemed like I wasn't a born speaker. So I'm a big believer of motivation and inspiration, but I also I'm a motivational speaker, but it's like my big mentor says, right? John Maxwell, he's a motivational teacher. So I try to be a motivational speaker and a motivational teacher at the same time.
Yeah, but you want his words, because his words are powerful, because that's how someone else saw you. So those words are really important, because what he saw in you is what you can add to your own marketing.
Yeah, exactly. So I try to use the word energy a lot, because I know a lot of people say, interactive and engaging, but I put the meaning in the word engaging, right? I mean, everybody just kind of participate and they don't expect it. So it's an awakening to make themselves feel better. So I really enjoy that part, just seeing a different aspect of how they come to life, and they don't really, like you, right? You don't realize your potential in your brain until you utilize it. And that's what I like to do in my speeches.
So I'm interested in the forces one for other reasons. You know, there's a different mindset in the forces. You know, if you're part of that team, you don't have a choice. You do as you're told, or you could be dead. It's as simple as that. You've got to have that sort of mentality, which doesn't apply in other areas. So what did you talk about to them? Because when you're talking to people who've got that sort of mindset, and I know the forces worldwide, a lot of them are trying to broaden the thinking and scope of, but so where did you focus in? What was your goal there?
I spoke on leadership, and I think leadership has a new meaning nowadays. Not really a new meaning. If you look back to some of the original Roman emperors, they really cared about their people. They really showed love. They really connected with them. They weren't dictators, to say. They didn't abuse their power. And they really gave the power that their people gave to them. They gave it back to them. Well, in return, it was a cycle. So the more love they received from their people, they gave it to their leaders, and it was just a cycle. And that's how an organization grows. That's how a community grows. And I guess just in talking with that, talking to them about it, you're trained to be a soldier. You're trained to be hard, right? In your heart, you're trained to put on a no fear mentality. But you know, me myself, I've ran automobile dealerships, organizations for the past 10 years of my life, and I know what it takes to be a good leader. And I can honestly tell you, there's been positions that I've taken that you don't have all the answers, and you look up and you don't even know how you're going to do it sometimes, because it's uphill all the way. But one thing that I'll tell you is I always brought energy, and I always brought love. And for myself as a leader, I always said, we're going to make mistakes. I don't care if we make 100, 1,000 mistakes. And just do me a favor. They're like, what's that, sir? Don't make the same mistake more than once, and we'll be okay. Mm-hmm. So I think just giving them that grace to make a mistake is like, it gives them that padding to say, and people respond to that. And another thing is, when you have a victory, we just celebrated it. And I think when I spoke to answer your question, when I spoke at the NCO, it's, you see it, right? Some of them look tough and some of them look that, but they're human like us. And I think that's what people forget. We're all people. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, New Zealand, from Africa. Everybody has a heart.
Yes.
And there's two things that everybody wants in this world: to be loved, mm-hmm, and to be appreciated. And when you're loved and you're appreciated, there's this, say if this is your capacity as a leader, well, just by raising your love, by raising your appreciation, you go up 2 levels of leadership. Not automatically, because you got to practice it over time. But if you show those 2 things, I talk about the law of the lid. And what the law of the lid says is that an organization will never rise above the capacity and the leadership of the person running the organization. So if the leader is a 5, the organization is going to be a 4 because it's underneath, right? It taps out. If the leader is a 7, it's going to be a 6. So as the leader grows and shows love to his people, to his troops in this case, they rise. And it was pretty amazing, because one of the senior sergeants, they forgot about that. So I think it's just awareness and reminding them of maybe something they might have heard 5-10 years ago, and reminding them of, hey, you get after your platoon, you get after your organization, you get after your employees. They're only following you at the end of the day. So,
as an interviewer, I try to avoid agreeing with people, because I would just want people to hear the person. But I'm going to say this: I think you picked out 2 things that really do. That's what 2 things that people do want, and it's very powerful to understand that. So I will this time break my rule and agree with you. That's absolutely for me too. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but it's for me too, for sure. Now, your key provision is strengthening the health of organizations. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, it goes back to I think the strengthening part of organizations. It goes into the people itself. Um, it goes back to it goes back to the same thing: love and appreciation. Over 55% of employees here in the States, and I don't know what the stats are in New Zealand, but are disengaged in corporate America. And they're disengaged. they're they're disengaged because, you know, the way that corporations are run is they're not run the right way. You're trying to run an organization based on profits, and you're putting, anytime you put profits before people, it's not going to work. And unfortunately, in America, they've put profits before people for too many years already. So that's my message that I'm trying to communicate to the world, is that strengthening the organization is strengthening the people. And once you strengthen the people, the organization responds. And again, it starts at leadership, because leadership, they need to change the way they think. And as a matter of fact, one of my quotes today that I did on LinkedIn was, leaders love their people. And it's simple, but you'd be surprised how many leaders, when I go out there and do my business coaching or leadership training, it's yeah, but if this is some of the mindset of some of the people. Yeah, but if we tell them they did a good job, they're gonna get lazy and they're not gonna respond the right way again. So they want to have that hard love. And I go, no. If you celebrate the victories, if you show them appreciation, they're gonna respond. But you still have those leaders that say, no, if you treat them too nice, they're gonna get weak. I'm like, no, they're not. So changing that mindset is never easy, but the more you tell your story, the more you teach your beliefs. And for me, I believe I have God behind me and trying to change the marketplace. So, you know, when his spirit moves, the marketplace listens. And I've had to, I can honestly say I've had major successes and wins, because you see the profits going, you see businesses selling more products. And it's just amazing when you put people first, the profits are there. When you put profits first, the profits ain't there. And I can guarantee you, I can debate with any CEO out there that wants to debate with me. If he's putting profits before people, he won't be a CEO long. That's why the average life of a CEO is no more than 3 years.
There's only one thing I disagree with you on. What you said at the beginning, you said you'd be surprised, but no, I'm not surprised. I will just share one thing. I often get people asking me questions and things, and I have to keep telling them I'm not God. But once a boss turned up to me and he said, do you think if I give them bonuses, they'll perform better? And I said to him, you know, if someone wants a better chair, or someone wants a window view, or someone wants more time off, if you give them each of what they want within your allowance, then they will do, because they'll do what you want because they are comfortable and they know you like them and respect them. But if you think money is going to buy everybody, you got no show. So it really fits into exactly what you were saying. And I've had a lot of people ask me that question about with people, that people don't seem to get it. You know, just because you used to whip people and get them into shape doesn't mean you can go and whip everybody and get them into shape. It won't work.
Yeah, it's funny you say that about whipping, because I was doing some training today.
I thought you were going to say you were doing some whipping.
No. I was doing some training, and it's like the one thing, as a contractor going into these organizations, you know, a lot of the employees put confidence in you, and they tell me stuff they don't even tell their own managers and leaders, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm there, and he's like, Daniel, I'm so glad to see you. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And oh man, he goes, they're trying to whip me into shape, and it's making me close up, and they don't see it. And I'm like, you know, I said, well, so I did a little bit of one-on-one coaching since I was there with them already, you know, because he came to me for help, but he just exactly what you said. He goes, they're not. what he was saying in a nutshell is they're not leading me right, they're not managing me right, and the approach they were taking, it was making him close up as an employee and want to transfer to a different department.
Yep.
And people don't realize that. So I'm honored that they come to me and ask me for advice. I'm thinking like, I don't have all the answers, but.
Don't you find it wonderful when people find the freedom to be able to speak to you in things that they wouldn't normally, they'd be afraid to say?
You know, it's amazing. I'm honored and I'm humbled because being on Facebook and a lot of these, you don't have a lot of personal numbers. So when you get a message from one of the employees of the organizations that you go and you train and you develop, it's pretty. The first time I got it, it kind of like touched my heart, and it touches my heart every time because it's like, wow, when they do that, it goes back to what I mentioned when we started. You know, if I can change one person's life, so I guess I'm trying to. I don't know if I'm doing exactly what I need to do or the right thing, but I know I'm moving in the right direction by getting those messages.
But I know from experience that maybe you think you've changed one person, but you won't know all the people who you have changed because they won't all tell you or let you know. And it may not be immediate, it may be later on. So all you can do is be the best you can, and it's wonderful to get that confirmation. Wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a blessing. It's a big blessing.
So what came, I think you touched this a bit before, but what came before this? Who were you before this? What was?
Well, I've always been energy. I've always been smiling Daniel. Last year we had a life-changing experience in our life where my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer. And so that was an eye-opener. My goal in life was to save up money and to save enough money to put a down payment on a dealership. That was my dream, to own an automobile dealership. Mm-hmm. And I was doing automobiles. I've been running dealerships actually for the last 10 years, and I've been in the automotive industry for almost 20 years. So in running dealerships, that was my heart. I think for the last couple of years, I kind of just got a little burned out in that. Mm-hmm. And but I think it's because, just life changes and sometimes you don't realize it, but that's all. You're in your environment, so you feel comfortable. And what I mean by that is you go to work, but you I guess I got to a place where you could do it. I don't want to sound, I say it humbly, but you kind of know what you're doing, so you can run a dealership with your eyes closed, right? To make profits. And I think with my wife being diagnosed with breast cancer, I resigned from my job to take care of her. We got our Christmas miracle. When we got our Christmas miracle, I had already been doing a little bit of work and kind of just, on the side. And I really had my heart saying, I can do this. Mm-hmm. So when that happened, I just said, you know what? I said, just prayed about it and got some confirmation. And I did almost take a job for the wrong reason, for money again, because you make a real good living and running organizations. But I said, you know what? I'm going to put the money aside. And in doing that, it's blessed my home life, my relationship with my son, with my kids. It's better than it's ever been. But for the past, to answer your question, I know that was a long answer, but for the last 20 years, I've been in the automobile industry for the last 20 years of my life. So,
just as an aside, how is your wife?
She's doing great. As a matter of fact, we have our big our last step. She's cancer free. Wow. So October 11th, she'll be having her last major surgery, and that's to put her back to her reconstruction phase. So that'll be a 6-month process. So we're excited and a little nervous at the same time, but we know that it's the last stage of God restoring her 100%.
Well, so when you're finished, maybe you want to go water rafting.
Hey, I like that picture.
It's somewhere in New Zealand, but I guess they got them in the States too, where you go down the river and it's quite exciting, and it's right. Sometimes it's very scary. But I like to put pictures up behind me because you can do that on Zoom. So that's actually green behind me. Oh. So that's what they call visual background. and virtual background, and so I change the picture every time and show off a little bit of New Zealand.
Awesome, that's beautiful.
So Daniel, between 1 and 6, when's the Daniel that you? What's the Daniel you remember from back then?
Ask that again.
Daniel between 1 year and 6 years old. What's the Daniel like that you can remember from back then?
I remember him. As a matter of fact, I do a lot of reflections. I do that's something that I try to do in just meditate and reflect on life. And I remember I was a little. I can remember I used to have a lot of little puppies, and I remember my dad would bring me puppies home. Yeah, I love puppies, but it just seemed when every puppy I got, he would run away. He would sneak out or he would leave because we wouldn't really. I had a puppy named Fred. I had a puppy named Sam, and I'll never forget. We were leaving. We used to live on the street called Benitez Street, and it was over there off of on the southeast side of San Antonio, kind of 2-story house. And I remember we left, me and my mom. And back in the day, you know, this was, sheesh, I'm 44, so this was about 37 years ago. Well, the cars back then were humongous, right?
Yeah.
So I would love to go in the back seat because I would like to look out the back window. Because you could actually lay down in the back window and they wouldn't give you a ticket back then. So I would look back there, and I remember I laid down. I turned back to look back, and I was like, "Hey, Fred's leaving the house." My dog, I could see my little puppy crossing the street, and I was trying to tell my mom, but I think she just ignored me. And sure enough, when I got home, he was gone. So I was sad. So, but I had a lot of puppies, and I was just a regular kid. I always played outside, and that Daniel, he loved to climb trees.
Uh-huh.
I used to love to climb trees so much. I actually fell off a tree and was in a hospital for a week and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So,
good memory. Good memories. Where are we? Yeah. So I think you might have answered this, but well, I'll ask it anyway. What drove you to change?
you want to know the truth?
Well, of course. Of course I do.
Man. You know, honestly, I didn't like myself.
Okay.
I didn't like the person I had become. And I think in stepping back from my own life, and you know, because a lot of times we're busy, right? We got work, we got friends, we got family, we got going out, you got eating dinner, lunch, you got all these things. You got about every day you have about 8 levels above Daniel down here, right? Daniel to self-reflect. So I think once I resigned from my job, I had a chance to reflect and see who I was. And I looked in the mirror and I didn't like that person I saw.
Do you know people who see this few seconds of you, they get you 100%. That's very, very powerful. That's a real honest answer. I'm very, very respectful for you for sharing that. That's power. That's when empower other people, when they hear people like you say something like that.
Yeah, and I just, so I'm going to share this because I had this conversation because my son, we moved him into college yesterday, Texas State. And I think something that my son told me one time was he told me he liked the new me. And you know, it was that. So on our drive, he's going up the highway here by San Antonio to San Marcos, Texas State. And it's about an hour away. And just driving up there, it's like I teared up, he teared up, and it's just like we've bonded so much this past year that it's not just a father-son relationship. It's like we connected, you know. And I said, man, I'm gonna miss you. And I think he needs. I think more children need to see that love, like we talked about, from their parents, because a lot of times we don't really connect with our kids, and then we wonder why our children are maybe not responding the way we want them to, or they're not the people we like them to be as teenagers.
Well,
And I think
you saw yourself. We don't see ourselves. So, and the children see who we were.
yeah, you're right. Now you put it that way, yeah. So he likes the new me. So I'm trying more and more to make the new me better.
So the odds are that him alone has helped you not want to go back.
Yeah, no, just I'll tell you this because I had some friends ask me, well, you okay? Are you feeling good? So well, I mean, I know he's okay. It's just I mean, I'll miss him, but it's been a day or so. But just the fact that he calls me now all the time. Like today, he was up there. He FaceTimed me, but I was working. I didn't get a chance to answer it. But I remember the first time he called me like that back in January, and I was like, "Hey, son, what's going on? Everything okay?" 'Cause when they call you, they only call you when something's wrong sometimes, right? But he was calling, "Hey, Dad, I just called to see how you're doing." That first time he did that, I failed the test. Okay, just to let you know, I failed because I didn't respond the way I probably should have. I said, "Okay," it was kind of weird, awkward because we didn't really have those conversations a lot. I said, "Okay, well, I'm busy at work, so I'll call you back." He goes, "Okay." So after I hung up, I said, "And I could have handled that differently." But so now when he calls me, it's like he's like my friend. We talk, So it's an amazing bond that we have. So I really enjoy it. So it's priceless, right? So no, I don't want to go back to who I was.
That's fantastic. Now I don't know a lot about John Maxwell. Tell us about him, what he offers, and tell us about him and what he offers.
Well, John Maxwell is the #1 leadership guru in the world. He's a most sought after leadership trainer, developer. As a matter of fact, we're in the process right now and the John Maxwell team, we're not just transforming people, we're transforming countries. We just did Paraguay. We went to Paraguay. The president of I can't think of the country that he went to, but they send a team out there and they do leadership training and transformation. Romania, we're out there in Rome, in Romania, so we were out there, but he's the highest paid non-celebrity speaker.
Mm-hmm.
So he's well known, but he started off being a pastor at a church, and he used to pastor Skyline Church out there in California many years ago. And at the time, there was no leadership trainers, and I guess God just touched his heart. He told him, "Hey, you need this in the marketplace." So he made that shift. So he goes out. He's trained over 1,000 leaders in a no exaggeration, and over 1,000 leaders worldwide, and that's what he specializes in. So when I became a speaker, I said, what better team to get connected with and with somebody that's a person of integrity and a person of faith that I could learn from. And I can honestly tell you the mentoring that, because we go to these conferences. I just came back from Orlando last week, and he's there right there. Like, I can touch you, I can touch him, and he's people. He talks to us. He's not far away, so it's an amazing opportunity just to connect and learn. Because they say, right, you're going to become the people you associate with. You become a product of your environment. Mm-hmm. So if I want to become a better leader, if I want to become a better individual in leadership development, leadership training, and just a better person overall, who better to hang around with and associate with? So he's an amazing person.
So has he written a book?
He's written about 100 books.
I know I've read at least 2 books, I'm sure, but I can't remember because I've read.
Yeah, he has. He actually, I used to read him when I was a young leader. I used to actually read a lot of his. As a matter of fact, my wife bought me this John Maxwell calendar right here. She bought me this. This calendar is probably like about 16 years old, 15 years old.
Wow.
But I've been reading. I've been kind of just reading his books and his stuff. And the book that got me hooked up was when I was a young leader. I wasn't the top leader, of course, and he had a book that was called 360-Degree Leader.
Mm.
What 360-Degree Leader is you don't have to be the main person to lead an organization, and that's where people fail. They want a title to lead. And what 360-Degree Leader taught me was if you're a, say, the bottom leader, to say, right, well, you can lead up, you can lead to the right, you can lead to the left, you can lead down. There's always somebody that's going to need help and leadership, but most people feel that if they're not there, they don't want to do the extra effort.
Yeah.
So, but he has over, to answer your question, he has over 100 books.
Yeah, I know the name wasn't unfamiliar, and I know that I gave all my books away. There was over several hundred, so yeah, I know that I've read two at least, yeah, for sure. Tell us about your style of speaking.
My style of speaking, you know, it's inspiring. And I don't just say that to say that, but it's inspiring. I speak from the heart. And I even feel God's presence a lot when I speak, in whether it's at a high school, at the NCO Academy. I don't really talk about God or preach about God, but a lot of the things I say come from the values of what I've learned as a believer in Christ, right? And I bring that inspiration, I bring that, but I think with that, I bring a true passion from my heart. And with that passion, it comes through because when you have somebody come in after you speak and they're in tears, saying that your words really spoke to me, that's priceless. Mm. And then you add that passion and that inspiration with my energy. So it's pretty motivating. I'm not one of those I don't want to say I'm not a humorous speaker, but if you look at my videos that I have on my webpage and on different speaking platforms, I just bring it. And, you know, I'm not one of those, I don't get tired. It's funny because I did a training at a organization for it was a all day training. So it was about 6 hours worth of training. And one of the attendees said, aren't you tired? I go, what are you talking about? He goes, you've been talking energetic. You've been at Fireball all day and you have not met up. He goes, man, this guy is great. I go, but once he eats lunch, he's going to pass out. And it's in me. When you're doing what you love and you find your purpose in life, you find that extra strength, that extra gear when you're running to home plate, you find what you need. So I think if you had to say it, I'm an inspirational, energetic, fireball, a motivational speaker. But I'm not just a motivational speaker where you're gonna feel good. I bring substance with my with my speech, so you're gonna remember because I connect with you that way. It's not just rah rah rah.
Yeah, I want to get a little bit from a different angle from you, but I will. One of the things I'm aware of, I always say I live by Christian principles. Okay, the reason that I do that is because I know some people are not comfortable with God and so forth. So in respect for them, I always say I live by Christian principles. And I'm like you, I don't get tired. Occasionally, I mean, I am in my 70s now, so occasionally on the fourth day I can start to feel it. But afterwards I do, I can tell you. After I've let go of keeping my eye on everybody and what's going on, then I do sort of relax and let go. So I did notice one thing in your speaking, because you got a lot of quality and everything, but there is one thing I can tell you. I noticed at one time you went to the side of your audience and you lost eyesight from some people. Now, I think as a speaker, what I've learned is, I think I learned particularly in one case from Robert Kiyosaki on this one, that keep your audience in view. whatever you're doing, don't take away your audience from you. So the minute you go and connect with one person or in a certain area, you lose your audience, and it's a very fine thing. But that's just one thing I noticed. But I know you're the bum 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 type of speaker. But what I'm trying to get at is what's behind there. Where are you? Not what you're putting out there, but what is it coming from? What are you looking for? Is it when you're a speaker? What's here coming this way as opposed to going that way? Does that make sense to you?
I would say, now you're coaching me. No,
No,
you know,
I don't want to. I'm trying to be.
no. And I'm glad you challenged me. But you know what? The thing is this. It comes from confidence. And what I mean by confidence is that whether I do life coaching, business coaching, leadership development, sales training, sales coaching, or all those different aspects of life that I do. And whether you're a leader, a salesperson, any person, once they lose their confidence, they're done. I don't care what you do. You can be a sports athlete, in any industry. Once your confidence is done, you lose it.
Yeah.
So I come from the point of letting them know that if I can instill that confidence to believe in themselves, because if you look at my sign always says, always believe in yourself. So if I can ignite that fire with them to give them a little bit of hope, to believe in themselves, and to give them that little bit of confidence to flame that fire from here to here, then my job was done.
Okay.
Sometimes it goes bigger, the flame. But if I can give somebody hope to say, you know what? My wife told me a quote over almost 15 years ago, and I live by this quote. When you go back the next day, regardless of what happened the day before, you are a champion.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who quoted that. I don't want to misquote that, but my wife brought back from work when she was a manager at Home Depot. And I always keep that in the back of my mind, no matter how much she might have gotten beat up, stepped on, whatever might have happened the day before, just the fact that you showed up the next day, you're a champion. Because too many people, they don't show up the next day. They quit. They cowered back.
Yeah.
Or they've never been taught. Yeah, they've never, or they've never been taught to continue going, right?
Yes.
And the more I speak, the more I teach, the more I do what I do, the more people I come across that have a low self-esteem and low self-confidence. So I think where my energy, where my passion comes from the back, from the inside out, is saying, hey guys, there's hope, and I'm going to have you believe in yourself by the time you leave here.
So for any speakers that may hear this or whatever, what's going on for you, or what are you doing in the first 10, 15 minutes when you speak to a group?
What do I do? One thing that I try to do is I try to, before I speak, I always want to talk to two people there that are not my event planners, right? The people that hire me, of course, you want to get what they want, but I think that the true message comes from the people in the audience. And I just try to seek out 2-3 people, just kind of talk to them for 5-10 minutes, connect with them a little bit if I can. I usually get there earlier to set up. And once I hear that, it changes, right? It changes. But I think, so there's not a set saying, but I think once I hear what I have, a good speaker speaks from the heart.
Yes.
And that's what my motto is, right? I speak from the heart. So I think too many speakers, they practice a certain speech and it's scripted. It's scripted, right? And I have a little bit of, I have a guideline that I follow. But I would honestly say mostly everything that I speak from, it's from the heart.
You're not scripted. I've watched. But what I'm intrigued to know is, it's lovely when you have that opportunity to speak to two people, but what do you do in the first 10 or 15 minutes when you haven't had that opportunity? You're going into an audience. How do you get, because that first 15 minutes is crucial. What can you tell people who are speakers that they can do in that first 15 minutes to make a difference?
I think just be transparent. I think like if it's a leadership, like for instance with the military, you know, I recognize my audience. First of all, I thank them for their service, and people appreciate that. It's not about me as a speaker; it's about your audience.
Yes.
And I think too many times speakers go in there thinking that it's about them, and they want to be the celebrity, and it's not. It's about your audience.
Yes.
So I approach it from that standpoint, and when I approach it from that standpoint, like in this case, the military, I thank them for their service, and I thank them for being who they were, and you just kind of feed off of that, and just show them, you know, you're not just a leader, you're exceptional leaders, and
that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
How do you acknowledge them?
Yeah. So
if you don't do that at the beginning, then and I
yeah.
want to hear you, how you do it, and I understand. Yeah. Yes.
So they're at this point I go, yeah, you're not just a leader, you're an exceptional leader, because everybody can take their life one step higher, and everybody can take their profession one step higher. And sometimes they need to hear that and be reminded, because sometimes they're not reminded enough.
Do you ever find sometimes you feel like you're being a cheerleader?
No. Somebody mentioned that the other day, but I go back to what my mentor says, right? John Maxwell. He's a motivational teacher. So everything I say, everything that I do, my words they're not just words that fall by the wayside. They're words that are inspiring, that are powered. I'm going to say this humbly. I'm not going to say it arrogantly, but I truly believe that God anoints every word I say. So it doesn't fall on deaf ears, because everybody inside of them has a spirit that's crying out for something bigger.
You have no choice over that.
Yeah. So no, I don't. I think I bring substance, and just in the fact that I get emails once in a while, and it proves that everybody's gonna have their opinion about what you should do or how you should do, and I appreciate everybody's opinions, and I think about it, I reflect on it, but it's me, right? I'm gonna be the best.
Absolutely, 100%. It's you. I just put a different perspective on your title of motivational leader. I see it. So people see it differently. I see it like this. Whoever you are, you're being that person that enables people to do something. And so therefore you become a motivational speaker, because you cause something to happen. That's how I hear it, but not everybody hears it that way. They hear it as you can't motivate people and all this sort of thing. Well, you know, that's true too, but you do something, you are motivated, so you are a motivated speaker, and therefore you because you're motivated, they become motivated. You know, it's just a way of looking at it, isn't it? And
no, you're right.
I've watched quite a few of yours. They're never very long, though. You don't give us a longer, but I guess you got your reasons for that. Hey,
I'm glad you to see, because you get. I have a couple of mentors, right? You have mentors for speaking. You have mentors for videos, and if you look at the one I did for I do have one that's that I did for the because my heart belongs to the students too and young adults. So I do have one that's on for the high school ones, and but you hear everybody's, but I think they say the going length of a video you want to have it is 90 seconds. So 90 seconds to me, I guess the first ones that I saw were 5 minutes or 4 minutes, but they say that's too long because you lose the event planner at that. So I think that somewhere along the line, I don't know exactly where it happened. But somewhere along the line, 5 to 8 minute videos are way too long because you get bored with you lose the event planner. And so the recommended time now is anywhere from 90 seconds to 2 minutes. So that's why you have that.
Yeah, it's interesting that, and I understand it, but it doesn't matter if you've got them in the first 30 seconds. Doesn't matter how much more, they can stop at any time because you got them. That's my own view. Some of the topics that I deal with, they're not 2-minute topics, so people either read them or they don't. It's
so how long? So a quick question.
Yeah.
A quick question for you. How long were your demo videos?
Oh, well, I never did anything. I never promoted myself, but I did one the other day, which is about 2 minutes, which is on my website, which just goes through the workshops that I do. And yeah. And I know what you're saying, 2 minutes. I did. Yeah, I did one for the Singapore Institute of Management because I'm always over there running workshops for them on communication. And they asked for one. What they've done with it, I have no idea. But the thing is that I'm very different from all the usual. I mean, it's also a university, and they're very different. All the others are very different, but I'm still there. Over 15 years, I get between 4.5 and 5 out of 5 for my evaluations every time. They keep asking me back, so it can't be that bad. But they actually don't really know what I do. It's funny, isn't it? They have a few. There's always somebody from the Singapore Institute of Management that participates on the course, and they get a great experience. But they don't really understand what I'm doing. You see, because I'm not telling them how to boil a kettle or how to do this or how to do that. I don't tell people what they can do. People might think I'm doing that, but I'm not. I'm questioning stuff, and I'm observing how people are performing, and I turn it around so they can see it for themselves. And it isn't just me. Every participant in the room is doing that for everybody, so that when they go out, they know how other people see them, because that's the key to your future. How you perform is how people see you. So
exactly.
So yeah, so my it was quite a challenge to do a short video because I talk too much. Anyway, the Jeep, that's nice. Is that yours?
The Jeep?
Yeah.
That was my son's Jeep.
That's your son's Jeep.
It was his Jeep. Yeah, he wanted a Jeep for the longest time, so we bought him a Jeep, and then this is the deal, though. I told him, if we buy that Jeep, I'm going to pay for the Jeep, but you're going to pay for the gas. He goes, yes, Dad, yes. I said, I'm just letting you know. After he had that Jeep for 1 year, let me tell you, he would put $20 of gas a day. So he worked all summer after school, and half of his check, if not all of his check, went to gas. I said, well, he goes, Dad, I go, I told you I'm not going to put. That was a deal we made. He wanted the big tires, all that, and sure enough, he got I think he got 10 miles a gallon, 9 miles a gallon on that.
Oh, it's a nice Jeep. Your logo, DG, it's on a shield. Tell us about that.
Well, DG is for Daniel Gomez, right here. You see that on the back.
The shield.
The shield is a shield of faith, and what it stands for is you have faith in God, you have faith in yourself, and then you have faith in your situation that everything's going to come out all right. And when you have those three things, everything works out. And so that's why I went with the shield of faith. So, and DG, well, those are my initials. So it took me a while to come up with it. I played with a couple of them. And once I got the shield, then it took another couple of tries to get it together. So we finally got it together, and it kind of worked out. So it's, everybody talks about a logo and your brand, and you don't really think about it when they were telling me that, but I'm glad I got that logo right there because people recognize it now in San Antonio, right? It's not to say popular, but it's getting, people ask about it. So it's a good thing.
Has anybody done the sort of thing that I do, David and Goliath?
You know what? I never thought about that. You just said that right now.
Oh, when I see stuff like that, that's this thing. Just
wow. You know what? That's powerful right there, because I have a story for that. But but thank you for saying that. That's a great little comment you made there. You made my day, actually.
So, again, for any speakers listening, tell us the importance of audience eye contact.
Priceless. Priceless. I don't care if you're how big or small the venue is. One thing that I learned with John Maxwell when we did our speaker training there is you get if there's an opportunity, once again, it goes back to you as a speaker, not being about you, being about your audience. And I make it a point, and I haven't you haven't seen that footage on one of my videos because it's kind of hard to record it when you're doing that. But there's times that I actually get off the stage, and people say I walk to the audience.
Absolutely.
And I make eye contact with a couple of people, and people say, well, why do you do that? You shouldn't do that. I'm like, well, you know, John Maxwell mentioned it one time, and if it worked for John Maxwell, why won't it work for me? But I noticed I've done it twice, to be honest with you, and those 2 times that it presented itself, it really impacted. And so you talk about not just eye contact, but just the emotional part of it. When you actually say walk down, get off the stage and walk right there to the first 4 or 5 aisles, whatever it may be. And it's priceless how you connect with people. So eye contact is crucial.
Mm-hmm.
People say, well, can people really see you? You know, if you make it a point before as you're walking out on the stage, because too many people, they don't observe the audience. And what I mean by observe the audience, as you're walking out on the stage, you want to pick at least 2 or 3 people that you already want to make eye contact as soon as you start.
Okay.
But most people don't do that. They just kind of, I think they miss that opportunity, because once you get the eye contact right off the bat, then before you know it, once you engage, you start engaging with other people. But a lot of people don't do that. A lot of speakers don't do that. But I definitely recommend picking 2 or 3 people as soon as you walk out to the stage, and if you get the opportunity, jump off the stage. You know, you don't have to be. I think sometimes we're too formal with speakers, right? We're too up. You got to be here, shoulders here, and you can't move your arm higher than here. No, just be yourself. Just relax. Does it work? It works for me.
Your topic's good. It's good to do that. Now, after I wrote that question, I just wrote another question to say, did you recognize that that was a leading question?
No.
I'll explain. Because I went, for any speakers listening, tell us how important audience eye contact is. Why is it a leading question? Because I'm telling you, I already know that it's important. And I'm already assuming that you know that too. So it's a sort of leading question, because does that make sense to you? It's just because I didn't realize that until after I read it. And so much in life and speakers, etc., which I think is a major flaw, is their leading questions. There's no way, you know, don't you agree with me? You know, and they just, it's just, why have I put that? Why have I put that? I've got, how well is Daniel doing? Yeah. How well is Daniel doing?
Is that a leading question?
No, it's a straight up question.
How well is Daniel doing? You know what I was told today?
No.
Are you always smiling? Are you always that happy? And I was like, this is me. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine on the phone yesterday. They go, how was your day? I said, it was fantastic. It was great. They said, you said that yesterday. I'm like, well, yesterday was fantastic and it was great too. He goes, come on, man. You can't be that. It can't be that good.
I got a better answer for you next time. You know that? Here's one for you. I'm not coaching or anything, but it just comes to me. The answer to that question next time is, do you know what? You've just made my day because you recognized me.
I like that. I like that.
That's who I am.
but you know, I like I like that quote from Picasso, right? Picasso says, "Whatever you can imagine is real.
Yes.
Whatever you can imagine is real."
Beautiful.
So, to answer the question, I'm wonderful because I choose to be wonderful. I'm happy because I choose to be happy. I'm blessed because I choose to be blessed. And I try to see the good in every situation. And so is it easy? Never. Is it fun? Yes. But you know what? I can honestly say I'm stress free because I've learned that whenever you get frustrated and you feel that vibration going different in the inside of you,
Yes.
that means I'm growing. So I've learned that that vibration, that frustration feeling, it's a positive because I'm becoming a better version of myself.
I want to tell you this because it just come up for me. I can see you so much better now than I can on your videos. And I don't know how you get your videos to portray you. I don't know if that makes sense. It's just that I get all of you now. I just can't. I was looking for all of these things in your videos, but they're sort of quick and short. Where is he? Which is, you know, and I get you real now. I mean, I get everything you're saying is so congruent. It really is. So I don't know whether that was feedback or whatever, but what's your future?
You know you know what my vision is? To speak to 60,000 people in a stadium auditorium.
Oh, one time.
Well, several times.
Oh yeah,
But
but
that
I mean the 60,000 all in the one.
one stadium.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's my goal.
That's
I'm
not
gonna get
enough.
there.
What's the date? When's the date?
When's the date? I would say, you know what? I would say 2020.
Fantastic.
2020.
That's when my
2020.
that's when my credit card runs out. I have to replace it. But hey, that's, you know, goals like that, fantastic. You see, because for me, doesn't matter if you don't make it. The thing is, you're going for it, and there's no way you're going to make it if you're not going for it. That's my philosophy. So I wish you luck on that. So you just,
You know what? When I get that event, I'm gonna buy you a ticket.
I'll take you to that, and I'll come. And because I've been to Houston, I ate at probably the most expensive restaurant in Houston.
Where was that at?
I all I know is there was a shopping mall with a huge ice rink in it, and I went skiing. And I think it was Compact Computers I'd been invited to the States because I was in IT at the time, and I think it's Compact Computers that they were in Houston, weren't they?
The Compact Center.
Yeah, and so
Yes.
I went to this shopping center. It's a huge shopping center with a hotel in it and everything. And there's this ice rink, and we had a bit of skating.
The Galleria.
It could have been, yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
the Galleria, the skating rink.
well, near there's a restaurant that the previous week the finance ministers of the world, the top 5, had eaten there, and they took us there. They like to show them off. You know, and we haven't got time. It's not about me because you wouldn't believe the meal. I mean, there was a bottle of wine in the entrance for Disraeli at $45,000, I think, but I can't tell. So, and every bottle in the cellar was about $1,000 or more and up. So, but I remember that well. Houston's amazing, and I'm sure we went to the Rocket Center or whatever it is that's there as well. But so. Yeah, Texas is an interesting place. Some fun. Where are we going? Yeah. So the next 2 questions. You see, you got psychic. What's your big goal, and are you going to make it? Well, we know that. And when? You already answered that one too. Now, here's something interesting for you. You all know what I mean by this. I have this negative response to being referred to as a lecturer. I don't know why, just a negative. I'm not a lecturer. and I know this is from their experience, so I have to accept it. I watch your promo tape and you have a very direct style. Then someone said the favorite part of the lecture was, how do you hear that? Because yours is not a lecture. Yours is a, you know, it's.
You know, like it goes back to the comment you made. I guess just the armed forces, right? Their mindset in the military. That's the way that's, I think when they're saying lectures, they're saying speech. So I think that's just their language, right? It's kind of just how that's the meaning they put to that word. I think that's all it is. So I think in the military, it's a lecture, but it's a speech. So now that you're saying that, I guess at lecture they're always getting in trouble, so they're getting lectured.
Exactly, exactly that. But it also tells us what their experience is.
Yeah.
What I always get in Singapore is, I've never been on anything like this before. It's not the same. It's completely different. I didn't expect this. This is much better, you know. And it's just like, oh, really? And even though I tell people there's not lectures, there's always one or two at the end of the day who say, not enough lectures. You get it all. Religion we've covered. You're a true Christian. Now, here's a challenging one for you, okay? I look at you wandering around Facebook, all right? And you come into my group and I see you're visible, but I don't get Daniel. What is that? Why is that? I'm keep thinking, how do I get this guy, Daniel, to put a comment in, tell us what he's thinking? Why don't I get that?
A comment?
Yeah, something about, I mean, there's an opportunity there for you to share who you are, what you do, just a response.
Well, you know, I saw your post, and the reason you're gonna laugh. We're not gonna laugh, but the thing is, sometimes when I post a video, I don't have a lot of free time to be on Facebook all the time, right? So when I go, I kind of hit and miss because I'm working, right? When I'm on my when somebody hires me, like these 3 days this week, I'm there 8 hours, and I don't steal their time. So I don't have the liberty of standing in front of, say, a PC at a desk to read every comment. So there's actually groups that I've left because they post kind of stuff that it's okay, but it's like it doesn't raise my awareness. It doesn't add value to me. So I ask myself, do I really want to be in this group, right? So I leave groups because I can't be part of 1,000 groups because guess what? You don't have the time. So you got to prioritize.
Do me a favor.
So, yes.
If I'm going to attend your event because you got there, just occasionally, rather than just like, because you have the courtesy of liking things, just occasionally put a quick snip in.
So I was going to get to it. Let me tell you. So to make a long story short, I commented on a group. Well, it was a small group and I didn't snap. Well, when you comment, when you post something to a group and it's too soon, it blocks you out. So you're allowed to like in the group, but you're not allowed to comment in the group. I don't know if you're aware of that or not.
I've been kicked out of one or two, and
no. But I mean, but what I'm saying is, when you're blocked from Facebook on one group, you're blocked out on all the groups you're in, unless you're the administrator.
Is that right?
Yes. So in other words,
I've been kicked out of a couple, but I haven't been.
No, I wasn't kicked out of it. But say like if say like I put a post, if I post something on a group, and by accident I post again, well, guess what? If you post within a certain amount of time, it blocks you out because it's a small group. But I didn't realize the group that it was in. So it kind of has the same name, but it's like your group. Your group has about I think it has like 40 people on it. But so if I comment or post something in your group twice in a day, it's gonna block me because there's not 20 comments in there. You see what I mean? Or 20 posts. Does that make sense?
Well,
So
hey, I don't understand Facebook because they're doing all sorts of things. And it doesn't surprise me. In fact, someone told me the other day they were told they posted too much in a certain period and they were limited to, they couldn't post again for another few hours. And I thought,
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
brother, that's
So
it's scary. But I tell you something, I read something the other day that Facebook has reached a plateau at the moment. They think it's the start of a decline because there's not enough value. They're trying to push up value all the time and people want money out of it. But like everything, if you keep doing that, then you will die. Eventually it will come to its limit. And I think Facebook is suffering that consequence.
yeah, well, yeah, I agree. I agree with it. So I agree with that. So, but soon as I get unlocked, I'm gonna go and comment on yours. So I forgive me.
You can say, hey, that old bugger asked me this. Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay, two things. I think you might like these. First of all, what do you do when you're talking? Are you all right in time? We are sort of.
We're good. I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, two things. One is, how do you handle it when you're talking to a group and one or two are not listening, they're not looking at you and you know it? What do you do?
What do? I ask them a question.
Yeah, that's a good way. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it. I think when I was younger, it definitely bothered me. But I think in running organizations, I've always enjoyed training and developing people. That was just part of who I was as a leader in the automotive world. And of course, not everybody. It's Monday morning. Sometimes you got those people that are tuned out. So you ask them to participate, and that's pretty much it. But I think when I was real younger, it bothered me. But I've learned to you kind of just, not everybody's going to be a morning person, and not everybody's gonna agree with as much as you want everybody to agree with you. You're going to have those, and I think that's good because it challenges you. It challenges you to be a better version of yourself. So,
if you don't accuse me of coaching, I'll give you a little tip because I'm a lot older than you, so I can give you a tip if you like. That's made a lot of difference to me as a speaker.
do it.
Okay. Just stop and look at them. Your whole audience knows what you're doing and why. They're always with you. But if you just stop, you have the power. And I never knew that. I learned that. And it doesn't take very long before they look up to see what's going on. It's powerful because it shows the audience who you are. You're not actually pulling someone apart or anything. You're just stopping, having a good pause. And it's beautiful. It works. People know what I'm doing. But it's just if that works for you, try it because it's fun.
All right, I'll definitely do that.
That's for all speakers. It really is fun. You know it's fun when you're really in your flow. It's fun. Speaking is fun to a group, and you know when they're listening. Where are we? You like to ask your audience questions. Now, I'm talking from something that I notice occasionally, and I hopefully I've learned how to overcome this. But you get this anyway. You like to ask the audience questions. What do you do when you get a weak response or something that's totally just almost stupid? Although they meant it, it's almost stupid compared to what you asked. How do you manage that? How do you be genuine and you know what I mean?
That happened to me today, actually. You consider the source. You consider their awareness. So when you ask a question, you have to be prepared to know, okay, your audience. Some are going to be looking at it from, just an example, some are going to be looking at it from, say, 2 meters up. Some are going to be looking at from 10 meters. Some are going to be 100 meters. So their view's broader. And you kind of get an idea, and you just kind of, you kind of nod your head and agree and accept it and acknowledge it, because you don't want them to think that they don't have value. But one thing that I tell them, like I said it today, is they say this, right? Well, I don't know if it's the right answer or not. I say, you know what? There's no wrong or right answer. It's your opinion. And guess what? Your opinion matters. So I think by just revalidating or reaffirming that, there's no wrong or dumb answer. And it goes back to the confidence issue that we were talking about earlier, right? There's so many people that say, well, I don't know if it's the right answer or the wrong answer. I said, there's no wrong or right answer. It's your answer. It's your perception. And we want to hear it. And that was I said that about 2 or 3 times today, actually. And when you say it that way, it gives them the freedom to be honest with themselves, to be with us. And I think it's good because it expresses who they are.
So have you ever had to speak to an audience that was 100% introvert?
No, haven't had that problem yet.
That's mainly what I get all the time when I'm in Singapore. Great learning experience. Well, so what's it like if I'd find this challenging. What's it like dealing with 100% extrovert audience?
It's fun. I love the energy because you create energy. I'm an energetic person, so the more energy, having I'll say having 300 students yelling at the top of their lungs and feeling it and seeing it and experiencing it. They've never done that. They've never had their state change that way. So to experience that, and they're extrovert, their hormones are everywhere. I'll take that any day over your introverts.
Hey, look, the introverts are good. I love the introverts.
No, I know.
Introverts have things that we don't know unless we give them an opportunity or ask them.
Yes.
So they are powerful too, and we need both in our world. But hey, yeah, no. A number between 1 and 120.
We'll go with 77.
See, because people always have their favorite numbers. Oh, I've had this the other day, and I don't know. Sometimes it gels or it doesn't. What don't you know that you don't know?
What don't I know that I don't know? I don't know how to fill an audience yet of 60,000 people in a stadium, but I'm going to get there.
Good answer. It's a tough question too. Another one between 1 and 120.
Let's do my wife's birthday, 16th.
16. Huh?
16.
16.
16.
16. Well, is 7 your lucky number, by the way?
7? No.
Just you chose 77. What's that going on? The front of the question's gone. What does it say? Oh yeah. I better put the first letter in. No. Okay. Oh no. Escape. Why didn't it do that? That's supposed to go in there. Shift T. Oh, it worked. Good. Don't name a celebrity you think is lame. Just tell us why.
Why? Because they're shallow and superficial.
I like it. I like it. Good thinking. Come on, let's have a couple more between 1 and 120.
Let's go with my birthday, the 9. Let's go 9.
Sorry?
9.
Number 9.
9.
9. Not this month. Yeah, that's a nice one. Have you ever done or accomplished something you never thought you could?
Yes. My book.
Come on, tell us all about it.
I never thought I'd be an author. When the first time I went to John Maxwell, there was a gentleman at our table, and he was excited. I had no idea about Amazon. I heard of Amazon as a store, right, a bookstore, but I wasn't aware that they would publish stuff. And I felt, I can honestly say I felt like intimidated. I was like, oh, like wow, like you wrote, like I was like, man, in my mind, I said I would never be able to do that. And just being able to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning for 3 months straight to put out content, you don't. If I was to think about everything I had to do, I would have probably never started. But just the fact that I got coached through it, and I was waking up at 3:30, it was amazing to put out a book. As a matter of fact, today I just did my password for Create Space, and so I'm on the final stages of the book, and I'm super excited because I really took time. I wanted to have it out by August the 15th was my target date to have it ready for school, but I didn't want to put out junk. So it's good stuff. It's not just I've seen a lot of books where people just write stuff to say I have a book, and I didn't want to be that author. I wanted to have a quality product to say that it's something that's going to change somebody's life. So it was I'm excited about it. So
when you when you get to this part on the tape, look at yourself. I don't know if you do much reading of eyes, etc., but you were going up there and there. What you were actually doing, and it was all going on in your eyes. So you were recalling the truth, what actually happened. You were then structuring it, going over here, and then you were focused on me delivering it. And you were doing that all the time. You were going up there, boom, up, boom, boom. It's quite fascinating to watch, but it was so easy to see with you doing it, with the way your eyes were going. It's amazing stuff, eyes. I mean, I love the thing of eyes, and so I got that was really real, and that was a good experience. So that's congratulations, because my book, which I started in before you were born, and I never finished. Maybe one day.
You didn't do it. If I can do it, you can do it.
Exactly.
You know why?
Exactly.
Because you were born to fly.
And that's true. So one more, between 1 and 120. That was a great answer. I like that one. You only get the questions the universe wants you to have. So
let's go 4.
Huh?
4.
4. Yeah, you've gone quite low now. Oh, I like this one. I've never had this one before. What's one thing, silly or serious, that you're guilty of?
Silly or serious that I'm guilty of? Let's go with the humor side, right? Let's go with the humor that I'm silly of. When the kids were little, I had a camcorder, and I would always envision myself having a TV channel, right? So when I would have my camcorder, I would get my camcorder and go, "Hey, this is Daniel Gomez coming to you live from DTV, right? DTV." So actually my first YouTube channel was called DTV Motivation or something like that. And we went to Universal Studios, and I would record the kids, and they were little. This was probably about Alicia's 24, so it was probably about 13, 14 years ago. And I would record DTV, and I would say, "You're coming to you live." So when I started doing Facebook Lives, it reminded me of that. It's just it's weird how the universe prepares you for what you don't even know you're going to do, right? And so it was funny with that. And then being silly with taking selfies with the cardboard cameras. I remember it came up from 2003 when me and my wife, I would always just take, I didn't know that the word selfie didn't even exist, but we would take our own pictures when we go to Vegas or Hawaii. And I said, "Look, we're taking selfies before there were selfies." So you never know, right? Just the universe brings your blessings your way when you focus on it. So the power of the mind.
With that question, I'll share something about my silly. You look forward to this as you get older. All right. what I do in the morning is I put some stuff in my hair, just a little bit of stuff, and then I do grease on my face. Twice, not twice, 3 times. What have I done? I get the stuff ready for my hair and it goes on my face, which is all sticky. 3 times.
Oh.
Oh. This is your turn to promo yourself any way you want.
You know, when you get Daniel Gomez, you get the real thing. I know what it's like to grow up in poverty and eat cereal with water. I know what it's like not to have anything. And so whenever I try to encourage somebody to try to really believe that they can be original and be themselves and that there's something better for them, if you truly believe it, it will come your way. Because if God did it for me, that I'm just a Southside kid here that just had dreams and ambition, he can do it for anybody. God is not limited to New Zealand. He's not limited to America. He's not limited to Singapore, anything. It's just the fact that we don't believe it for ourselves. So when I come in and speak, I speak from the heart. I speak with truth, speak with passion, and I truly value people. And I don't just value people, but just the fact that somebody took a chance to hire me. I don't just give you me, I give you all of me. And what I mean by that is if I can give you 120% that day, I'm going to give you 120%. If it's 190, it doesn't matter, because it's not about the speaking engagement. It's about impacting and transforming and touching the hearts in the audience, because you never know whose life you're going to change. Because one person, it could save their life. And I myself, I tried to commit suicide when I was in high school. So if I can do that for one person, everything else is gravy. So when you hire me, you get, everybody puts real, I speak from the heart. I really do. I care about people, because people of value people.
So one thing, if you want people to hire you, where do they have to go? Tell us where they have to go.
DanielGomezSpeaker.com. That's Daniel Gomez with a Z, speaker.com. And we have the contact button there. And I do leadership training, sales training, and I speak on positivity and confidence. I got several keynotes. So like I said, DanielGomezSpeaker.com. And my book's name is You Were Born to Fly. It's going to be coming out here soon. I'm excited. And Lance, you've been an amazing, amazing host. And for being as young as you are, I love your spunk. Don't lose it, because you know what? You don't realize it, but God's using you to transform lives and bring hope to people also. So thank you for having me on your show. I'm honored, and I really, really thankful that we had this chance to talk.
Well, you still get the last word anyway, Daniel, but just for those who are non-Americanized, Z is Z. So for those, Gomez, Gomez, or Z, depending on whether you're Americanized. My name is Lance Best, Communication and You. At this time, it's actually sunny Auckland, New Zealand. Today, I've been speaking to Daniel Gomez in San Antonio, Texas, and he's a speaker with a lot of power. So the last word goes to Daniel.
Thank you for having me. And my last word is this: you weren't born to be average. You weren't born to be mediocre. You were born for greatness.